Hi, everybody. This is Susie Liberatore, your branding expert and art director of Visions to Images. I am an art director who has invested years mastering the digital design world and was an early insider to the digital marketing space. I learned the twists and turns of exactly how to bring that physical brand presence to the online space seamless through beautiful branding design for a variety of different businesses, ranging from corporations to small businesses and even large businesses. Today, I have an amazing person that I'm sharing a story with on my podcast, and I would love for you Hey.
Hey.
All right. All right. So I'll introduce you. Your name is Jennifer Jimbury.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I just want to make sure I said it right. And what do you want me to introduce you as?
Business and executive coach.
Okay. All right, and then so I'll kind of guide you a little bit, and then I'll ask those 3 questions, and you can talk like when I say what are you most excited about. Let me turn Facebook Messenger off. When I ask you what you're most excited about, you can talk about your, what is it called, the 4Ds or 4 something?
Yeah. So the 4DX model, it's the business planning model that I use.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, so you can talk about that if you want for the most excited part. And I'll probably like ask or talk, like if I hear something interesting, I'll kind of jump in or ask more questions. But those are the 3 main things.
Okay. I'm going to put on my mic so the audio is nice and clear.
Okay.
Yeah, so I think you guys had it in the States, that clothing store for kids. It's called Gymboree, the kids store.
Yeah.
And they also had like a one of those play gyms that you could go to with your kids. That's basically how it's pronounced, unless you're saying it the way my husband wants me to say it, which is Jimbere, which is the African version. But I think Gymboree sounds more like a party, so that's what I like.
Okay, I think it's easier too.
Oh, you know what?
What?
That's not going to work because it takes your audio out. Can you hear me?
I can hear you, yeah.
Okay, so I wasn't hearing you, so that is not going to work. Are you hearing me nice and clear, though?
I hear you good, yeah.
Okay. All right. So we won't worry about a mic.
Okay. Sounds good. All right. Hi, everybody. It's Susie Liberatore. Today on the podcast, I have Jennifer Gimbury. She's a business executive coach. And I'm super excited to have her on here. She has been on LinkedIn connected with me for quite some time. So it's really good to be able to share her with you guys today.
Thank you very much for having me, Susie. I look forward to sharing.
Yeah, thanks for coming on. So tell me how you got started in your business and the online space.
Absolutely. So I was in corporate for about 17 years in the financial services sector, and in my last role, responsible for all of the professional development of Edward Jones Canada. So I did a lot of business planning and coaching to help those advisors get to their next level. And I was building my business on the side for about 4 years. And it came to a point where we were building a coaching department to separate the training and coaching. And it was a great launch off point for me to go all in my business. So in one of the books I was in, Dream Boldly, I Dare You, I talk about that process of taking the leap, selling the house in Oakville, moving out to a smaller city and getting it going. So
yeah, that's a great story. I think a lot of people can totally relate to that when being in the corporate world and then kind of always doing their business on the side. I mean, I know that's kind of how I started in a sense too, and then took the jump. So there's a lot of truth to that.
Yeah.
So tell me, I know we're kind of working on some fun stuff, but tell me what you're most excited about right now in your business that you could share with everybody.
I would say it's kind of, I talk about 3 levels of business. So first is financial foundations, and then profit accelerator. And the third phase is growth and scalability. So I'm really excited to be there right now, scaling the business and bringing in associate coaches to help with the customer service level that I'm aiming for. And also the service Java with Jen. It seems like a really great way for us to have that introductory session to learn what is it that you really need support with? Do we work well together? And are you ready to invest in your business? So having a lot of those conversations right now and supporting people to create a plan for the year ahead.
Yeah, that's very true. Who's your like typical audience that you kind of reach for?
Yeah, so definitely teams of 5 or more. So those that are already doing, really exceptional work and are looking for that high performance coaching to take it to the next level. So they know their thing, whether their thing is, manufacturing or website development or real estate, for example, they know that, but they're just not sure what else is possible for their business. And so they might be stuck. They might not know what is the next wise step for us to take. Or they might have a challenge in one of 5 key areas in their business. And those areas usually are leads, conversions, transactions, pricing, or profit. So we zone in on one of those areas and help them shift from struggle to solution in that one area, and then see what else we can do to support their growth.
Yeah, there's a lot of truth and a lot of information that you just gave, and I know so many people can relate to it. I mean, having leads is one thing, right? But if they're not converting, that's a whole nother issue. And the profit and pricing, all of that is just, it's something every business owner has to go through at one time to kind of be able to go over and scale for sure.
Yeah, so bundling, for example, is an opportunity, upsell, downsell, cross-sell. How are we looking at those in a strategic way to make sure that we're offering, the most service that we can to that person when we're in partnership with them?
Absolutely. So did you have something that you wanted, the 4D model?
Yeah, definitely. So right now we're in planning season for those that haven't already taken the necessary steps to have a plan in place for this year. Mine was created in November so that I could be of service now to people. So the 4DX model is, there's 4 disciplines of execution. And the first one is we need to have 1 to 3, not more than that, wildly important goals. So when we have more than 3 or 4 goals, the likelihood of achieving them with excellence goes down. So what I find a lot of times when I go in and have that initial discussion about business planning is that there's like 6 or 7 goals for the year. And so we want to bubble those up to 1 to 3 wildly important goals. The second discipline is act on lead measures. So think about your own business right now, those of you that are listening, and ask yourself, am I focused on the lag measure or the lead measure of success? So I'll give you an example. I have 2 teen boys. So if I want them to not have cavities, the lead measure is to brush their teeth, right? So the lag is not have cavities. So a lot of times business owners focus on the revenue they need to bring in and or the result of this many clients supported. What we want to do instead is, what are the actions I can control to actually get that lag measure that I'm after? The third discipline is having a scorecard for your business, something fun that you have visual in your office space that as you walk by, you know, am I winning? Do I need to do more? What's happening? And it's a way to call to your attention where you're at. What is your year-to-date measure? And then the fourth is creating a cadence of accountability. So we all have great intentions for our business. And when you partner in possibility with somebody who's a proven coach, they can check in on what you said you were going to do, what you did do, and what you're going to do next, and create that cadence of accountability for forward movement for you.
Wow, that's all amazing things. I totally agree with the first, like all of it, but a lot of it, having too many goals is like the number one reason why businesses fail or you're not succeeding. Like, so having those 2 to 3 is like huge, right? Like it's, you got to have those. Not have more because it's just overwhelming and distracting. And then the other thing that stood out to me was, I'm drawing a blank. What was the third one?
So the third one is creating a compelling scorecard. Okay.
So I'm gonna cut some of that out. But the other thing that stood out to me was the scorecard. I totally understand that. And of course the accountability is huge too, but I think that the scorecard is really big for personal development in a sense where you can have it on the wall or have it and you can see that you're accomplishing things, because too much as a business owner, we're always like self-doubting ourselves, putting ourselves down. We're saying, oh, we're not good enough, or we didn't accomplish this, so I must not be good. And we go back and forth. But when we are able to actually see these things and have it and carry it around, we're like, oh, I can do this. I'm doing it. And then when your accountability partner checks in with you too, you're like, oh, you know, they're supporting you. You can both see that you're doing things. So really having that support in those 2 ways is really big, I think, as a business owner. So.
And it can be depending on how it's worked out. I helped a nursing home start creating a scorecard of the overage that they were throwing out in food in the kitchen. And so that simple scorecard had them saving $1,200 a month unexpectedly. It wasn't what I was there for. You know, I was there for leadership and employee training, and that's just my kind of bag of tricks. It's like I pull out what's needed in the moment.
That's awesome. That's so good. Okay. So my last question for you is, if somebody was, it's entrepreneur world, right? Like I feel like everybody's always trying to start up and stuff. If you could give anybody advice to like go for it or what you did wrong, like tell us a little bit about what kind of advice you would give to somebody who's trying to start a company.
Oh my goodness. One thing. Okay, I'm gonna try and unpack 3 things. Okay, because you know, one thing is just too hard. So first thing is, make sure the goals that you're aiming for are heartfelt. So Harvard did a research study about 5 years ago, the difference between hard, H-A-R-D goals and SMART goals. And there was thousands of people in that study, and those that had hard goals, which meant they were heartfelt and mattered to them, not just because they needed to create them, did better. So have hard goals. Hard is heartfelt, animated, required, and difficult. That's tip number 1. So tip number 2 would be follow those that you want to be trying to get to their level, right? It's success leaves cues. So success hacking matters. If you're looking to have business growth and
Hi, everybody. It's Susie Liberatore, owner and art director of Visions to Images, and I have Michelle Adams here with Virtual Performance today. We are going to kind of talk to you guys about all the craziness that's going on in this world and life, and how we can really help our businesses as things kind of are changing and shifting. So, Michelle, give us a little bit of background about what you do first and foremost.
Right. Thank you so much, Susie. It's a great opportunity to chat with you and your business owners and people that you work with. Just really quickly, I am kind of like the strategist fixer. You give me a problem, I jump into all the chaos. My background is about 20 years product and project management and business analysis. So I've worked through at least 3 recessions of streamlining back office operations, usually for large companies. I now work for myself as a freelancer, and I help mid-sized companies, sometimes some corporations, and also micro businesses of how to transition, how to streamline their operations. And right now, with the word of the week this week is just pivot. Like, how are we accepting today's environment, forecasting out? We have no idea what's going to happen in the future, but kind of the what if game, like what do we do if this happens or that happens, and setting people up for success of how to handle issues today, and then without losing sight of what's going to happen in the future. We don't know what it is, but what steps can we do to actually protect ourselves or streamline our businesses so we can hit the ground running once we're actually up and operational. Some businesses are completely closed right now.
Yeah, definitely. That there's a lot of things, and some businesses are definitely closed, like you said, at least temporarily, until this kind of all passes. And the unknown is when is this going to be over, or when is my business going to make money? When is my business going to do all these things and catch up? And I know a lot of business owners are going through that, the what ifs in their minds. What if it's not till July? What if it's not till August? So there's a lot of factors
Right.
into this. So tell us kind of what they can do right now as far as what they can kind of do with their business.
Right. I honestly, the best thing I think anybody can do at any business level, first of all, stay in touch with what's happening with the Small Business Association. I am currently researching this. I'm not sure of all the details, but we know as freelancers, micro businesses, below a certain level, we are not eligible, obviously, for unemployment insurance benefits because we are freelancers. We're paid on a 1099. I'm not going to go all into that. But I did receive notification from my state's representatives that there are loans potentially available through the Small Business Association for what's called the micro business environment. There is more and more talk about how this is going to impact freelancers and small business owners that are in that micro niche. And so keep on touch of what's happening there. There might be resources available to you to help you through this period. The other thing is you're going to have to take an evaluation of where you are cash flow wise and resources. And I am recommending to people, find a trusted advisor, somebody that can help brainstorm with you, collaborate with you about what to do next. If you're, for example, a mechanic, and I know a lot of people that are mechanics and their business might be closed, they don't have a lot of the current technology of how to use Zoom, how to use technology. Their website might be 20-something years old if they have one at all. Reach out in your community. A lot of more technical folks are out there willing to help out, brainstorm ideas for you, how to either transition your business to an online space, how to completely convert it over, or set you up with, say, local communication, SEO, in order to get that message out there. So I would truly, the first thing I would do is like find a good trusted advisor that's not only in your space, but somebody that can complement your services, your thinking. You're better off with more people to brainstorm an idea than on your own. But don't go too crazy. But there are a lot of resources out there to start brainstorming new ideas and options out there.
Yes, I agree completely. There's a lot of different things, and I kind of stay active with my local chamber, my local people, and we're always going back and forth with the loans and the funding and all of that kind of stuff. So having that tribe of people that you can kind of count on for sure. And as far as finding like a trusted kind of advisor, yeah, everybody at this time needs help with something. So feel free to always reach out to somebody. And they will help you. I mean, they can help you in so many different ways, even just to be a voice of opinion, to tell you yes or no, and to really help you with whatever you might need. So that's great.
Yeah, I mean, we all bring different skill sets into the pie, right? Like for you, it's like website design and branding. For me, might be more the technical piece, how to automate something. And it's amazing. I've seen it before with software development. It's like you come up with a better solution with two minds that can complement each other and brainstorm a solution than you are on your own, because you won't see things that because you just don't have the experience with it. So it's not the time to say, I don't know what I don't know. Just say, you know what, I really don't know. Don't hide behind it and just ask for help. I've been on calls since yesterday. We have a really strong economic development authority here in Bend, Oregon. And there are definitely people, your Chamber of Commerce, your local networking groups, they're all scrambling to get information out to the community and help you as they can. and they're learning on the fly as much as everybody else. So at this point, we're all in it together, and just reach out and ask for that assistance from your local community or networking groups.
Yeah, and the other thing too is when we are trying to think inside of our minds, especially now during this crisis and pandemic and stuff like that, our minds become blocked. We have a million things going on and we're not thinking clearly. So having that other person be a voice, you're like, oh, I thought about that, but I didn't really think that it would work or whatever, or I thought about it, but then it passed me by because I had to go do this or do that. So it really helps when you're able to just talk with somebody, and we're stuck inside, right? Like we're stuck inside most places or whatever. And we can go outside and do walks and stuff, but we're not getting that social interaction. So it's really important that we get that, even if it's just through Zoom and a phone call, to bounce those ideas back and forth.
Right. And the other thing I've been actually pitching to people, so this is more of a project management concept. So it's called agile project management, where you have like an overall large project, but you break it down into like what they call sprints. So in this case, things are changing so quickly. Maybe it's like 3 days, where you develop the concept, what you want to do. It's a little piece of your business you're going to work on. You're not going to work on anything else. And at the end of that 3rd day or 1 week, whatever that time lane is that you want to work on that segment of work, you have something that you can publish, delivered, put it out there in the market, whatever it is. And it's kind of more of it's a better way to break down a huge complex issue of what are you going to do with your business, and break it into small, manageable, bite-sized pieces, and then feel satisfaction that you got something accomplished. You set out to do it, and it's now there. And it'll help the momentum in moving forward, and you don't get that squirrel syndrome of chasing every last little thing. It's like, focus on one item, get it done, and then move on to the next. And then be willing to change. I mean, I think that's the other thing. I mean, we know we're all pivoting, but it's like make super small, quick decisions without waiting for all that information, and then be willing to say, that didn't work, I'm going to pivot. If you spend too much time and energy into creating what you think is the right solution, you're too invested in it to actually change it if it's not working out.
Yeah, that's great information. Thank you, for sure. Yeah. I mean, being able to adapt and pivot and change and micromanaging yourself in a sense, where just doing those little tasks that need to be done and making sure they get done. I mean, I just can't do as much as I could before in a day because my kid's home and everything. So I just write down like the things that need to get done, and the things that are like my wish list that are probably not going to get done today and probably not tomorrow, but they're in the wish list of like internal marketing for myself and things that aren't necessarily making me money but have to be done eventually. So I focus on the stuff that's making me the money and the clients and the sales and the prospecting and stuff, and I micromanage those into a way to kind of time management those.
Absolutely. It's kind of it's a little bit of a leadership theory. So you cannot lead yourself or develop a better solution if you don't have your bare essentials accommodated for it. So typically it's like food, shelter, and security. And right now, a lot of people are concerned about their shelter, their food, their security, because they've lost that income. So find ways to actually just satisfy those bare necessities that you cannot think of anything else or learn anything else if you don't have them. And then once that's settled, then start looking at your business, both short-term and long-term. Because again, we don't know what's going to happen at all. And you should be thinking forward, like, again, if something happens like this, if this goes until like August, who knows? We don't know, but start thinking forward, like, how can I streamline my business operations? If you're closed, this could be a really good opportunity. I've got a few clients that they're like, we're shut down for business, and we're going to take this opportunity right now to look at our internal processes, really streamline them, get our documentation, our training modules, whatever they can do from an operational perspective in line, so that way they're leaner and quicker and more agile and nimble once they actually can return back to work. So look at those opportunities to actually take a step back, maybe train more on new skills, and also streamline and organize your current business as well.
Yeah, I think that's great. I feel like there's a lot of people struggling with what to do, how to do it. And I think that kind of nails down a lot of information that you said, for sure. Because the problem is nobody knows when this is going to end, and everybody is stressed about that factor because we all don't know, and it's uncertain, and it could be longer than we expected. And that's just the big thing.
It is. And I can't remember the quote exactly, but it's like there was this statement saying business owners, there's three classifications. There's the one that's going to completely ignore crisis and not do anything. There's the other one that is going to be and be so scared that they're kind of frozen in place. And there's the other one that's just going to hit it head on and accept it and just run into it like a storm. And they're the ones that actually are going to be the most successful. It's the ones that take this opportunity. They realize it's a unique opportunity to change, pivot, and look for new opportunities. Talk to your customers, listen to their pain points. Everyone's got pain points. Like, this is the time to really be reaching out, listening to your customers, and looking for solutions that they may not be able to find either. So I would, even in this time, like, constantly be reaching out to your customers. I'm not trying to sell anybody anything. But I'm really looking for information about, what do you need? Like, what do you need? What do I need to create to solve a problem? And look for those opportunities to solve problems for people that you may not know, and they don't know how to solve it on their own. And if you see it enough, and you've got like a new product to actually start designing, developing going forward.
Yeah, and a lot of people are switching to the remote working from home, the Zoom calling and all that, and people are starting to see, oh, like, for instance, there's like a massage therapist. Well, how do I do my massages if I don't have a location? So now there's this idea of doing these virtual, like, self-care and awareness stuff, not necessarily a massage. And then there's these other items that we can do as well, like launching a course or group programs, something to kind of help them with their mental mind, and some quick exercises to really help. So being able to shift and adapt, saying, okay, I'm just going to go online and do this. And pivot, like you said, just, I'm going to do this Zoom call. I'm going to do it virtual. I'm going to do it, and adapting basically.
Absolutely. I was in a call. It was a group of founders out of San Francisco. I thought it was a great idea. They have an application that helps match hairdressers with people based on your personality and what you're looking for. Well, obviously there's no beauty salons open right now. So they pivoted within days to actually have online consulting services to do your at-home hair care, coloring, whatever it is. And they'll actually do a Zoom video conference with you to consult with you on how to do that. So even though it seems like your business is only in person, there are people looking at creative ways to bring it to the consumer right in their home. That, again, if you can't find an idea, find a really good trusted partner and just have a Zoom call, have a happy hour, and just get on a networking call and just brainstorm. I've been participating every day, like in brainstorming sessions that just facilitate what to do next and just bring ideas to the table.
Yeah, and today my son did music therapy. It was like a virtual thing. It was over some platform. It wasn't Zoom, but it was something else. And she played the guitar. She did some music stuff. But before we even got to that point, and we're still going to be evolving next week, like today it was super short introduction, making sure everything went smoothly. And next week we'll do some stuff, and they're going to be giving us some stuff through the mail to do at home. But before we did that, they sent out a Google sheet basically that said, would you be interested? What would you want to do? Like, they asked a bunch of questions, and then we responded, and they got what they needed. And they said, okay, we're going to do virtual. Like, everybody wants this, we're going to do it. So being able to really ask your clients and giving them those options can help. And we all understand things are changing and shifting and crazy. So they're going to be like, oh, that's really cool. Let's try it.
Exactly. I mean, my local library, it's a friend of mine. She is a librarian. She did her first story time telling on Facebook. It's like, when we look back at all this, it's going to be fascinating how fast our cultures change, how fast businesses have changed. And I think it's going to open up new industries that we're not even aware of going forward.
Right. Totally. I agree.
I mean, I think every recession or any major impact, things change like that really quickly.
Yeah, I agree. Well, thank you.
I hope we get better internet service in the future too. Sorry.
Really?
It keeps cutting out. Yeah, I think so many people are on broadband that we're getting bad service at times.
That's so funny. Yeah, internet's got to be killing it right now.
That's right. So great. Yeah, so I think that's it. I honestly, if what I'll leave it with is, if anybody's got any ideas, like I said, I am transitioning more back into operational business operations. but I've got a pulse on my local economy and networks here, and gathering. I just research things like crazy, so I generate like a lot of ideas. So if any of your followers have any questions, or I'm trying to publish next Monday, like a resource of items that you can go to as a micro business, in addition to the small business. So I'm reaching out to my network looking for ideas. So that should be up and soon, and it will be free. So just have them reach out to me either by email, or my website's going to completely be revamped by Monday at some point.
Yeah, isn't it crazy? I didn't revamp my website, but I changed a lot of images and changed some stuff. And I'm like, oh, there's still so much more I can do. How much do you want to do? So,
yeah, in our household, there's 4 businesses in addition to the clients I have. I'm like, so some of them, they're kind of back and slow, but yeah, it's just kind of making sure all the websites are updated and stuff.
Perfect. Well, thank you so much for sharing all of your information. And yeah, we'll leave some links and stuff, and they can check you out.